lot of big bucks went down on the Revolution this year, and that makes it hard to pick a favorite. So let's take a look at 3 hunts that quickly rise to the top on this year's Best of Whitetail Revolution Season 2. Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by
Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Otis Technologies, the most advanced gun care system in the world. Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting. Winchester Rifles and Shotguns, the guns that work.
Degrees, warmed up a degree.
Iowa is famous among trophy hunters, and for good reason. Today, host Mike Handback is hunting the Midwestern part of the state in hopes of placing his tag on an Iowa bruiser.
You think of Iowa and you think, flat, boom, cornfields, all that. But when you get out here and you come into Omaha and then you drive out to the Lowe's Hills, there's basically little mountains out here, little ridges. You got valleys and you got little farmettes in here. Set up where we had good background cover and an awesome spot. I said, oh my God, there's a drop-tine whitetail. I was solely focused on that animal right there. I'm going to do what I can do to shoot that deer. Something caught my attention to the right, and I had my eye on the big drop-tine. I looked to the right, and I just see this big rat coming over the hill. And I said, oh my Lord, here comes another big shooter. Up and ready and just had to make a little move. And when you're hunting big whitetails, if you've got one out there at 80 yards and one out there at 150, if you're smart, I did what I thought was the right thing and focused on that deer, and obviously it was a beautiful 100 and almost 160 class buck. This was a big buck. It was a beautiful 100 and almost 160 class buck, big whitetail, awesome deer anywhere in North America, but to just see 2 whitetails of that caliber on the same type of hunt just made it really unbelievable. I say, Big Mike. That's all right. What do you think, buddy? Incredible hunt. 2 Iowa monsters on one night. I saw the big drop tine. You were telling me about?
Yeah.
I saw him. Big time. He came out the corner, he was coming in, I said, that's my buck, that's the one I want to shoot. I'm obsessed with a big drop time buck. Never shot one, 30 years. Never shot one. I see him coming. And then all the deer spooked out for a while, and they jumped back, and I said, what in the world? They were all looking back across. And I said, I wonder if another buck coming. And I looked to the right, and here comes this big rack bobbing about 80 yards away. And I said, man, there he was. So I kind of just spun around and got on him, and I said, drop time's gonna have to live another year because this is an awesome buck right here. One thing about this area is genetic. Brow tine is really cool. I've seen a lot of bucks you guys got in the lodge.
Yeah.
And also that's kind of a big blade brow, but just a nice old mature buck.
This is awesome.
Well, you put me on him, buddy, and I appreciate it. Did a great job. He is. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Great shot too, obviously, put him down.
Oh, incredible. Cold and full moon, and just everything about deer hunting, it came together, you know, the conditions and everything, just awesome. So, whoo, what a buck.
Let's get to this week's Whitetail Insider, your source for the latest in the ever-changing world of whitetail hunting. You don't always have to sacrifice comfort to nail that buck of a lifetime. Plus, the more comfortable you are, the longer you can sit.
At 8 o'clock one morning, Jack Kine looked up and saw a monster coming. The buck dropped off a ridge and walked down an old logging road, searching for a hot doe. The rut was winding down. The old boy was looking for one last flame. The buck walked close to Jack's big wooden hut stand. He fired his 20 gauge and the deer went down. Jack knew the buck was big, but man, what a giant. 23 points and scored 234. The number 3 non-typical ever killed with a shotgun in Indiana. 2 lessons here. You might have heard that deer will spook off a big permanent stand like Jack's, but don't you believe it. During the rut, a doe-crazed giant is apt to walk right under the biggest stand in the woods. Most guys want the big firepower of a 12 gauge shotgun. But if you don't like all that recoil, a 20 gauge with a stout slug will do the job just fine out to 100 yards. Just ask Jack, who killed one of the biggest bucks ever in Indiana with a 20 gauge. From the Big Buck Zone, I'm Mike Hanback.
Powder River, let her buck. That's been the shout of many a thirsty cowboy.
Big buck.
They called this southeast Montana river a swimming hole for grasshoppers. Those old drovers would be amazed to see the water in it today.
Oh, his right eye looks like he's got a horn.
Oh, yeah.
I look at it, it's bleeding and puffed out.
No, he's not as good as we think. Gee, look how deep it is.
That's awesome.
Now it's a magnet for big whitetail and for hunters Mark Kaiser and Jason Coulter on this episode of Whitetail Revolution. They'll stalk the November cottonwood bottoms along the Powder.
Hey, first day in Montana, sun's barely over the horizon, and how many good bucks have we already seen?
Shoot, I bet we've seen almost 20 bucks already.
And at least 4 or 5 have really made me think about shooting. That's what I love about Montana. I mean, there's just deer everywhere.
Them bucks are really in the rut right now.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think we're going to have a real tough time getting a buck. It's just deciding which one to shoot. Well, should we go check another bend of the river?
Yep.